2019 Harley Davidson 883 Sportster. Second one of these Harleys I've had in the last month or so. This is a buddy of mine's bike. It's only got about 190 miles on it. It's a 2019 model, as I mentioned. This one actually has a two-tone paint job on it. I think they call it Flux Silver and Fuse Black, but there's a really cool kind of gray in there, and then there's some black highlights even in the fenders, the front and rear fenders. It's a Harley Davidson Sportster. The 883 is their introductory first line model for the Harleys. They have a kind of a black theme on this, so it's got the blacked out engine, the flat black engine. There's really no chrome on it other than the forks, upper fork tubes there. But it's this is the classic Sportster. So when you look at these bikes, they're small, physically about the size of a Honda Rebel, but they got this big air-cooled V-twin engine in them. We got the push rods there. This has the, I think that's the retro air cleaner cover on it. Harley Davidson Motor Company. These have the mid controls. Some of them are mounted up front. The mids kind of feel more normal for a guy like me that kind of rides dirt bikes mostly. These 19-inch front wheel, the mag wheels, have got some machining on the faces there. The old school Gator forks. The suspension's short on these bikes, so the seat height is about 25.7 inches, I think. So there's not a lot of travel. You hit some big bumps and you'll feel it. You'll definitely notice it. This is, I think they call that the tuck and roll saddle, which is actually quite comfortable. Even riding around, it's pretty neat, and it looks cool too. But these bikes are just a classic Harley Sportster look from, I think, what, first one, 1958 maybe. They're so little. The back of that bike is so small, close to the ground, and that engine, there's just so much engine in there. They weigh about 560 pounds full of gas. You'd never know it riding it. They're pretty agile, and I guess being this close to the ground makes them easy to ride. As I mentioned, this one's got a keyless option on it, so you just have the key fob in your pocket and then you can start the bike. And it's got some options up here in the speedo where you can look at miles or trip A, trip B, or time, and then gear and RPM, and that's the one I usually run it on. This has kind of the shorty bars, just comfortable. I'm 6'2", 190 pounds, and it's easy. Bike is comfortable for me. Now it's an 883, 55 foot-pounds of torque, so it's not a big powerhouse. This bike came with the ABS option, which is nice for safety. But as I mentioned, 55 foot-pounds of torque, it's not fast, but it's got enough power to go and do what you want it to do. And as I mentioned, because they're so low, they're very agile feeling. For the size or the weight of the bike, you'd never know it. Perfect bike for cruising around, getting that classic V-twin experience. And with the belt drive, they just pull down low. That's 1500 RPM. Transmission shifts with a real mechanical crispness to it. Clutch holds light. This has a stock exhaust, so it's pretty quiet. I'm sure there's plenty of accessories out there to increase the performance. That's really not what this bike's about. It's about the look and the feel and the motion. Davidson 883. Two big thumbs up.